Jason Horne-Francis, to be brutal, in his first year, has been another one, hasn't he, Matthew?
He has. It was interesting, Cara, what you're alluding to. Brent Harvey had this to say. Brent Harvey said, why would he sign? He's probably our fifth best player right now. He's going to be our second or third next year. That's dollar signs straight away for his manager. It'd be silly to sign the contract. Do we want him to sign? So Brent's an employee.
What would you say if your runner said that at your football club about your star player at a time when your club's at a lowest?
And he liked it, Ross.
Well, I'm not sure he'd be
Jason Horne-Francis liked it on social
I think
media.
it'd be we need to have a talk, son.
You'd send the message to the runner, wouldn't you?
But that beggars belief, Jason Horne-Francis. Like, you don't want to pile on. This kid's under enough pressure. But it's a bit like Jordan. Don't put the spotlight on yourself, because once it's there, it's searing.
Cara, I want to ask you about David Noble, because you seem to be categoric the last week or two. Here's his next month, David Noble's next month. It doesn't get much tougher. They've got the Crows this week at Blunston, then Geelong, GMHBA, Collingwood at the MCG and Richmond at Marvel. You've been really strong the last few weeks. You don't think he'll be the coach next year?
No, I don't. And a lot of that's based on history and what these results, second bottom on the ladder, a percentage of what, 52. We're only West Coast worst and marginally worse, and a different situation over at West Coast, but equally woeful at the moment.
But do you believe the club's already made the decision?
I feel as though David Noble and his players, that there's a disconnect now that is too damaging to come back from. I'm not saying I've been told that's going to happen. I can't prove it's going to happen. I might be wrong. If you stood me against a wall now, I would say he's gone. I hate to be brutal, but I think he's gone.
And have they just appointed the bloke to pull the trigger in Geoff Walsh?
Well, I state again, Geoff Walsh is not going back into full-time footy administration, I'm told. Interestingly...
You don't have to.
Interestingly, he's a consultant at the AFL at the moment and is working behind the scenes, and we'll talk about this later in the show.
Working behind the scenes doing...
The list management for a 19th team. Or AKA Tasmania.
So the bloke who's running Tassie's going to go down to North.
Oh, no, cut your conspiracy theories, Ed. Oh. But I don't know whether the role North are envisaging for Geoff Walsh is a consultant short-term to just come in and have a look, or a role like he played last year with Matthew Pavlich, which was a review of the Carlton Football Club that ended up seeing the CEO removed and the coach removed.
Geoff Walsh doesn't come in to sing Kumbaya.
Well, and he's a proud North Melbourne man. So whether he's just happy to go in and do it because they need a bit of help, and we've seen people do that at the Carlton Football Club in the past.
Who's driving it, Cara? Is it from the board? Is it from the CEO? Because we know people have been appointed at times. Well, Kane Liddell had no idea what Luke Sayers appointed for the review.
I don't think Geoff Walsh should be brought in without the board and the CEO being well aware of it.
Well, it does happen with our CEO. Kane Liddell had no idea.
Can he do both roles, do you think? Can he do the working for the AFL on the Tassie list and also doing a bit of consulting for North as well?
Just depends how long he's at North Melbourne for. Is he there for just the next 6 weeks, 7 weeks to pretty much make decisions and make the recommendations of what should happen?
It's an important turning point, I think, in the North Melbourne story.
All's not well. It's a canary in the coal mine, isn't it?
Well, I think it's a good thing if it happens, and if Geoff goes there. Well, I mean, he's a person who knows the football club inside out
and loves the Kangaroo.
And if there are people who are in the wrong roles, and look, it might be recruiting. He's going in to look at.
It might well be.
You know, they let good
might
people.
Not either.
They let Laura Kane go from that footy club, and she's now in a senior AFL role.
Operator.
So there'll be changes. There will be changes at that football club next year, and I believe the coach will be one of them.
Hear that sound? That was Jaden Stevenson falling on the floor.
In shock.
If Walsh is going down to North, wow.